Here's problem 5. There's a lot going on here, but what we basically need to understand what the question is asking is that here is a bird's eye view of Dave and his relationship to his silo. The center of the silo is going to be 0, 0. He's standing at 12, 0. His line of sight to the silo is going to be here. This line of sight is going to intersect the y-axis at a certain point. This line of sight 2 is going to intersect the y-axis at a certain point. We need to find the portion between those 2 points to get our answer. So I went ahead and redrew my own diagram here. We know that the radius of the silo is 8, so I go ahead and just filled it in right there. We have this point. Eventually we're going to be finding the point that intersects the circle. We'll be using these 2 points in order to get a slope and then figure out where it intersects here. I filled this out as I went, so you can just ignore that for now. So moving on, there's the equation of the circle. We're not going to be using it for a little while, but we need to find the equation of the line of sight 1. So we have y minus y0 equals m times x minus 12. The problem is we don't know what m is yet, so we need to solve for m. And the way we're going to do that is we have to use 2 points, this point and this point. But in order to find this point, what we really have to do is find another line and then figure out where the 2 lines intersect. So we know that his line of sight is tangent, so we can assume that the origin and this point are perpendicular to each other. So what we should do is, or what I did, was I drew a triangle that I cut out of right here, using 8 as a radius for the hypotenuse, and just set A and B, coordinates A, B, as the lengths of the triangle, considering that this is 0, 0. And then I wrote them in terms of A. So in terms of A, you get A, comma, the square root of 64 minus A squared. And I just got that using the Pythagorean theorem and solving for B. So moving on, now we need to, so now that we know what this point is, we have to figure out what the slope is. So we know the slope is rise over run, and but we want to be we need to find the perpendicular slope to this line. So we know that B is root 64 minus A squared, and we're going to go over A minus 12 times the slope is going to equal to -1. And then we just solve for A, and then what that gets us is 16 over 3. Once we've solved for A, we can go ahead and plug A into our coordinates that we wrote in with regard to A, and once we plug it in, you get B, and now you have the, here's the work. Now you can find, now we know that the coordinates of where these 2 lines intersect is. So now, once you have that, now you can find the slope of this line using the point slope formula. And then, or you can just write out the entire equation, so write out the slope, and then eventually what that'll get you is the x-intercept. So here's, I plug it in here. We have y minus y0 equals negative 0.9 times x minus 12, negative 0.9 being the new slope, and then solve for it, and then we have y equals mx plus b, and we know that b is the y-intercept at 10.8, so we know that where line of sight 1 intersects with the y-axis is 10.8. The problem is we need to solve for this entire portion of the y-axis. So since we know that this is 10.8, we can just multiply it by 2 to figure out what the bottom part is. Or we know the bottom is the same, multiply it by 2 to get this entire length. So just do 2 times 10.8, and you get 21.6 is your answer.